Hi everyone, it's Tumtse and welcome back to the channel and to my new installment called
Caught in a love triangle, honest foe, friend, rising wasteland, gaming to the end, joystick romance, cruelty math, love, hate, pistols in our hands.
Well, anyway, the purpose of this installment is to go through games that are near and dear to my heart, and some that are a bit less beloved by me. I got the inspiration to do these review type videos from the last Harry Potter video I made some time ago. If you haven't seen it, as you probably haven't, go check that out, it was fun to make. And is there a better way to do the same type of thing with creating a series that I probably won't ever continue or release any other videos? Anyway, today we're checking out CrashBandicoot.
CrashBandicoot. Granty Banty. Because memories from my childhood are specifically from these games. I was in love with this franchise. I played these games thousands of hours, and I have to thank Naughty Dog for creating this masterpiece of a series.
In fact, I was so in love with these games that I used to watch my sister play these games. Nothing wrong with that, but I would dress up as Crash as best as I could. I was wearing my dad's sneakers and gym gloves, without a shirt on obviously, and cropped jeans, and whenever my sister would jump, spin or crawl in a game, I would do the same. I was a weird kid back then. I have so many memories playing Crash, especially now when I think about it. The first game of the Naughty Dog series that we're looking at today.
Of course the other games are memorable too, but I can clearly remember playing Charles of Darkness and Heavy Machinery in my grandma's house. And I recall I refused to go to preschool's midday club because I was so focused on Nature Fortress.
At that time I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and looking back I must say I'm really proud of myself for achieving as much as I did, because believe me, these games are hard as more on that later, but right now we're focusing more on the story.
So, CrashBandicoot, an anthropomorphic Bandicoot, developed by Naughty Dog, is the hero, main character, and an idiot with no neck. Literally, has a straight line from his belly button to his f***ing lips. Pretty disgusting sight if you ask me. Anyway, Crash is created by an evil doctor called Neo Cortex, with the assistance of his doctor Bro. The main goal of these two madmen are simple: create an evil animal army to conquer the whole world. Alright. And why exactly? Because apparently he was bullied through his whole life. It's a real thing, look it up. And he wanted to show everyone what he was capable of. Jesus, did you even think of going to counseling before planning all that? Just use that big head of yours for a second. Moron! Anyway, Crash escapes the facility by crashing through the window. But not so fast, Crashy Daddy. You left your missus there, so now we have to get her back.
And that really is the whole plot. Get created, escape, save your girl, and mess up the evil villain's plans. That's pretty basic stuff if you ask me. But you're not playing the game only for the story. Let's be honest here.
We're here for the game, but with that preparation, the gameplay does tell the rest of the story by itself. The game is based around on 3 different islands: Insanity Island, Middle Island, which was renamed Wampa Island later on, and the Cortex Island, which is, compared to the other islands, heavily affected by Cortex schemes, having placed factories that are filled with toxic waste and all the other good stuff. To get from one island to another, you have to move progressively by finishing a stage. At first, you start from the Insanity Island as you do, and all of the stages are based around jungle environment. You start from the beach you landed on, and start moving deeper into the jungle straight away to come across native villages, rivers, more jungle, and you can clearly see your progress by the map, but by the stages as well, as you get a glimpse of what might lay ahead in the future.
And that is the main theme of the game. You're creating the story by yourself, and that atmosphere carries throughout the game.
Middle Island has some jungle elements as well, but it is included with ruins of lost cities, steady bridges, and on some of these stages you get a really full view of the last island. You are really on a journey here.
And that is something I think the platformers missed out on. And even Crash himself didn't get the same atmosphere in the later installments, in my opinion.
The last island, Cortex Island, is polluted by Cortex and his mutated henchmen, and this island is the largest one in the game. You need to survive factories, another bridge, and a few stages that look oddly similar, even though you are on a different environment. And that is one of the few complaints on visual aspect. The game is gorgeous with realistic colors and settings, but at places the same type of stages could have had some kind of a difference compared to the other. For example, the bridge levels. They look exactly the same. Hell, even the Cortex Castle is at the exact distance, even though there are 9 levels between each other. Same goes to Temple Ruins and Charles of Darkness, Boulders and Boulder Dash. It is a recurring thing.
I know this is a little nitpick and the limitations are clear. They did what they could. But I can't help but think that you're only playing the same levels, only a bit harder and only a bit longer. And that takes away the journey elements a bit, in my opinion. But shall we look on how the game plays?
Well, the game is linear 3D platformer, which pretty much paved the way for the future platformers, being so groundbreaking and unique at the time that Crash would be one of the most recognizable characters in gaming, becoming Sony's mascot to compete against Unemployed Plumber and whatever the hell this is. The most overheard fact is that in the production of the game it was called the Sonic's Arse game, and it's so widely known at this rate it was boring to even mention here. Should we call it something else? Doggy Mario? Get it? Like Mario was also 2D, like Sonic, and we play as a character that's similar to a dog. Also doggy means... Forget the disgusting part and get back to where we were. The controlling schemes for Crash were, at the time, one of the simplest out there. You move by using your D-pad, and on the right hand side of the controller there are 2 buttons to use. X for jumping and square for attack. Or circle if you're a psychopath. Simple controls equals a simple game, am I right? Well, the goal is simple, save your loved one and the world in the process, but the game... It is one of the hardest things you can do on a PlayStation. I've replayed this game a couple of times since I got it on my PS3, and good f***ing lord the difficulty...
Finishing the stage isn't that bad,
for the most part.
but to complete the game 100%, which is something that most of us may want to do, is devilishly cruel.
In the stages, Crash faces a few objects that are crucial while getting to point A to point B. From the very first stage, there are these boxes. Spin, jump or spin an enemy to these boxes. You'll get Wumpa Fruits. Collect 100 of cell-set Wumpa Fruits and you'll get an extra life. Also there are TNT crates that are my favorite because...
Well, that scared me a bit, and I don't want to play this game anymore. How do I save my progression?
And this is the part that is so hard for most of the players. In order to save the game, yes, to save your progress so far, you need to either break every box on the stage without dying.
Keyword once.
Or to get to the end of the bonus level where Tawna gives you an option to save. Tawna, you're here. But then we can go home. Please, Tawna. Let's leave this miserable island. Please, leave him with me. Just fucking hell. Come on! The bonus platforms aren't even that bad. You don't need to get all the boxes, just go straight to the end and that's it. To get to the bonus level, you need to find a Tawna icon on the question boxes. Find 3 and that's it. Get to the end and your progress is saved. Or get a cheat code if you're into that. Weirdo.
But what about the collecting boxes thing that I mentioned? Is it really that hard?
Well, collecting boxes isn't especially hard on anything, and getting all of them in a stage is not either. But add in that you have to finish the stage, that is. Add in that you have to do both and not die, that is hard times 2. Add in that you also need to collect all the boxes in the bonus stage, and if you die there goes your try. You don't get another shot, that is hard, times 4. And add in there are other bonus stages as well, and Brios and Cortexes that are even harder. And even managing to get to the other end is so hard on its own. Not to mention collecting all the boxes, that is harder times shit 100 Seriously, to 100% this game is required to have all your concentration. But not only that, it requires you to have such a mental strength that you cannot crumble under the pressure. Pressure creates diamonds, and that is correct in this case. By not dying and collecting all your boxes at the end of the stage, you will be rewarded, not only by being able to save, but also you'll get a gem for mastering the stage. There are 32 gems in Crash 1, 26 white gems, grey gems or clear gems, and 6 colored gems, or 32 grey gems if you're colorblind. The white gems are the basic ones and can be achieved by breaking all the boxes and not dying in stage, as I said. The colored gems are obtained in the same manner, but they will open a new path or hidden area in another map to collect missing boxes. But imagine this. You have been trying to get the specific gem for that map quite a while, and you know that you are at the end of the stage, but you know that there is that specific section where you struggled before. You haven't died, so everything is still possible. The pressure is getting stronger as you reach at the end of the stage. You focus so hard on not dying that your hands are shaking. The end part is here. Go on! BAM! You nailed it. Finally. So many hours of pain and torture, and now that aching fear is leaving your body. You feel like you could cry. Okay, time to move forward. Yeah, there is no box count in this game, other than after you finish the stage. So when you are fully focusing on not dying, there is always a room for error, for not remembering the specific box somewhere, and you cannot check that. But hey, you did great! You only missed one box! There are also 2 keys to gather from the Cortex bonus levels that will give you 2 extra levels to get the gems that are painful, to say the least. And yeah, one try to get the key. How fun is that? And after your hard work, what is the reward for getting everything from the game? You get to skip the ending boss fight with an alternate ending. Seriously, all the hard work to skip Neo, which isn't even that hard of a boss fight. Of course it's cool to brag about the 100% completion, but you only get the bragging rights. That's about it. It takes a lot of time to complete. It is not fun, it is just not worth it.
There are the cheat codes that you get if you don't have a memory card to save the game. But if you put in the cheat code that unlocks everything in the game and you try to convince everyone that you really did beat the game, there's no way to prove it. Because if you try to save, you cannot. There is no way you can save the game as you already completed everything within the game. You have no save file to show to everyone that you really did win the game 100%. And that is a genius move for Naughty Dog, I'm not gonna lie. Back to the boss fights. They're pretty boring.
The boss fights were clearly not a focusing point for this game. They are more of an inconvenience that you stumble upon while progressing in the story. Papu Papu is a pathetic fight. Ripperoo I f***ing hate because of the awkward timing and is mostly waiting. Koala Kong is an okay fight, but yet again nothing special. Pinstripe looks cool, but if Ripperoo was mostly waiting, then this is nothing but waiting. Dr. Citrus Brio is the most challenging of them all, not by difficulty, but by the timing. I'm never completely sure when to jump to kill the spills, or to jump on his head. And Cortex is just a timing, reaction, memory based boss. Avoid all the other colors other than green, spin them at Cortex and voila, you are done.
A lot of complaining and things that I'm not really happy about. Is there anything else for my fine taste not to like?
It is funny to say out loud, but for a groundbreaking platformer that revolutionized the game, the platforming itself isn't especially neat. While in stages where you run and occasionally jump through the gaps and get to a platform to another, and in the side-scrolling sections, jumping is kinda okay, and not that difficult to get the hang of. But when the camera gets in the way, you are in trouble. You see, Crash is a heavy Bandicoot, I must say. The hang time in the air is weird, and it's similar to a bottle flip. It really is, the jumping is so hard to describe otherwise. Jaws of Darkness is a very good example of what I mean. In Jaws of Darkness, the platforms are moving, and the camera is making it very hard to guess where to land. The platform might be right under you, or it might be just off so you can think, I'll move a bit, and congratulations, you end up dying because you really cannot quite make it where everything is supposed to be.
Even if it might seem that I hate the game, that is really not the case at all. It is just not my favorite. And the fact that I know the franchise is getting better and better in the future, that in some ways it takes a little bit off from the enjoyment of the first game. Also, I think the trauma is getting back to me for trying to complete the game.
But they really did lots of things right. For example, the atmosphere and the scenery is truly marvelous. Awesome soundtrack, what I think is one of the most memorable in gaming, using groundbreaking elements that some would even eventually become like Crash's basic formula. Boulder chases, stages that will be pitch black if you are not quick enough to progress, branching paths and backtracking. And of course, fan favorite, animal riding segments. In this case, Hog Wild and Whole Hog. Crash, you're making me very uncomfortable.
What I mean is there are many flaws there, but I can still ignore them, mostly, and enjoy the game as it is. Have a quick linear platforming story, which is fun, trust me. And it sold incredibly well, over 7 million copies to this day. And that secured Crash's place in the PS1 classics, and gave Naughty Dog a confirmation they can work with Crash's IP in the future. But what did the future hold for little Bandicoot, eh? Well, that's what we'll see in the next episode, but for now, we'll have to wait for that. Hopefully not for 3 years. In the original script it says 6 months. Yeah, it's been that long since I've created the script. Let's see, December 2021, yeah. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. It's been a pleasure yet again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!